go back to the past to defeat Cicada in the future.
If I do this, I'm going back to some crazy time. Savitar, Dawn, Zoom.
And who is this?
I knew we shouldn't have done this.
Things just got a lot more complicated.
Guys, this better be good.
Yeah, we've got an after Thanksgiving tradition called sleeping. So, what's up?
It's good. Trust us, detective.
Well, it occurred to me that if you, Monsieur and Madame West Allen, you want to spend this holiday with your family, well, perhaps your medical does as well. So, I had Monsieur Cisco hack into the CCTV footage of the hospital, and this is what we got.
Ever since Grace arrived, only one man has come to visit her. Every day, including tonight.
Team Flash, I give you Orland Dwyer, also known as Cicada.
Hey everybody, it's Charlie. We finally got a trailer for the Flash 100th episode. I'll take one Reverse Flash versus one Zoom versus one Savitar versus one Barry Allen to go. So it'll be fun to see how this all fits together and why it's so important that Barry go back to visit these different villains to find out how to defeat Cicada in the future. There's a new round of that Flash Ring giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment on the video. So we'll just go through this shot by shot. So you start out with them at the beginning of Season 1 working through all the WTF moments that Barry has had as he's narrating to Nora and the team. If we do this, we're going to have to go back and see some really crazy stuff. So while he's flipping through this picture book of memories, they go frame by frame with a bunch of different shots. You start out with the particle accelerator explosion. You see the Martin brothers, Weather Wizard, that we just saw during episode 7, and his brother Clyde Martin getting their powers. Barry getting struck by lightning, the creation of Firestorm back during Season 1 that we saw when Ronnie got his powers for the first time. That was also the night of the particle accelerator explosion. There is a brief shot in present day of Barry looking through the window at Cicada and him looking down at him. So this might be at the beginning of the episode because they just found out who he is. So that means that Barry's got to confront him and find out that there is something that he needs that he doesn't have in present day. And that's where they come up with the idea. Go back to the past to figure out how to defeat Cicada in the future. So there has to be some moment where they justify that. Maybe it has something to do with Barry not having a countermeasure for the abilities that his dagger gives him, stealing his Speed Force energy anytime he gets close. Or maybe it's just because Cicada is now physically too powerful because he is growing stronger as he gets sicker and sicker. So the closer he gets to death, however long that takes, he'll just become more and more OP. Then he starts talking about going back into the past again, and you get all the big Flash villains in reverse, starting with Savitar during Season 3. I didn't know for sure whether or not they were going to include him in the episode, but the official synopsis that they released for it, I did a video for it last week, sort of confirmed that they'd be visiting all the biggest moments in the Flash's history, so he being a really big moment implied that he was going to be in the episode. But all we see here is a clip from Season 3. We don't know how they're going to invoke him physically in the episode, if they're just going to run through a scene from Season 3, or if they shot new footage with somebody in the Savitar costume. He mentions Thawne from Season 1. This is, I think, another clip from the back half of Season 1, not new footage that they've shot. Because, I mean, Tom Cavanaugh hasn't aged that much in a couple of years, so he doesn't look that different than when he did during Season 1. This is definitely a clip of Zoom from, I think, the last couple of episodes when Barry gave him his power for the last time. This was before he got sucked up into the Speed Force, which they referenced during Episode 7, because Episode 7 was all about Barry maybe dying every time he ran into battle to try and save people, and Nora being okay with that. So Barry getting sucked into the Speed Force during Season 2 was one of the references that Iris made when she was trying to talk to Nora about it. But this scene with Nora is a new scene. Who is this? With like that deep gravelly voice. So they got Teddy Sears to come back to do the episode. That is a bit of a surprise. We knew that Tony Todd was going to be coming back because he's the one that spilled the beans on Zoom being a big part of the episode. I love the look on Nora's face though. She looks kind of excited and kind of scared at the same time because she's been reading about all these major Flash villains in the Flash Museum her whole life, but she's never met them in the flesh. That we know of. I still have some theories about who's manipulating Nora in the future that she has not told us about yet. They raised that question in the first couple of episodes. The synopsis for the episode also reveals that Sherlock Wells raises that issue with Iris, wondering who that mystery person in the future is that told Nora that she had powers and gave her the idea to come back into the past. There's the scene from the end of Season 3 when they took down Savitar and destroyed his suit. I know everybody wonders how the completed one got into the Flash Museum. I'm assuming that they put it back together or it's a replica. Cisco writing the dates might be him just trying to plot out where in history Barry needs to travel to specifically. The person with the hat looks a little bit like Sherlock Wells in present day. This might be them staking out Cicada. Cisco in his vibe gear at what looks like the hospital. This also might be in present day. Iris from the end of Season 3 when she shot Savitar in the back. Cicada looking like this is also from present day. This is probably some big showdown that they have at the hospital, like when they all converge on him at the beginning of the episode. More of the Season 3 finale battle with Savitar with them running through the trees. Then Barry in an alleyway cursing their idea. I knew we shouldn't have done this. So obviously something goes completely off the rails. Of course, traveling back in time, 1, is already kind of bad, but 2, he's also interacting with all these evil speedsters that almost were able to kill him on several occasions. This shot of Cicada's dagger seems like it's from earlier in the season. Then we have a shot of Barry's legs sticking out in the old Flash costume from behind a dumpster. Maybe when they come back into the past, they have to knock out the current version of Barry Allen so that they can move around freely. Because he doesn't look that much older, he can actually masquerade as the earlier version of himself. They tried that during Season 1 until the Time Wraiths came, and that's what alerted the Reverse Flash to his presence. Like, you are definitely not the version of Barry Allen that I've been talking to the last year or so. You were from the future. Why did you come back here? Then speak of the devil, they're in the time vault with Nora and he says things just got a lot more complicated. He's smiling like a psychopath because of course he'd be smiling if Barry Allen has some problem that he's dealing with. He really loves watching Barry be in turmoil, but also he loves being the smartest person in the room. So it's icing on the cake that Barry's come crawling on his knees to get his help with something. So you have to remember that the Wells version of the Reverse Flash was probably from the latest in his timeline, so he's been through a lot more than the younger versions of Eobard Thawne that we saw during Season 2 and on Legends of Tomorrow. So he has a record of all the things that happen with Cicada, but because of where he is and the way that Nora's messing with the timeline, those changes have not caught up with him yet. So even though he has this crazy advanced science that can probably help them find a solution to defeat Cicada, eventually if Cicada is able to change the timeline enough, then his future would be erased and he would slowly disappear, but that would probably just take a little while longer. But I'm still holding out hope that after they're done with it, they use Cicada's dagger to turn into the Reverse Flash's wand from the comics. He has this lightning-shaped wand. It's really silly. It's a relic of the Silver Age, so they tried to use it in a funny way when Jeff Johns brought Barry Allen back during Rebirth back in 2009. So he uses it to slice up a whole bunch of people and create the negative Speed Force. So this was just speculation, but for now, this seems like the version of the Reverse Flash that we're going to see. Still hoping to find out what his new face is going to look like, because that was the big teaser in last year's crossover. I wonder what my face will look like the next time we meet. I don't know that I absolutely need to do an episode 7 video. They did a lot of great things. It was a Thanksgiving themed one. I've already talked a lot about Weather Witch in all the trailer videos that I did last week. There's just so much stuff happening right now that I'm trying to prioritize. So if you have any questions about episode 7, also leave those on this video. But if they post any more footage or any other cool stuff from the 100th episode, I'll do a video for that later. Click here for that new Elseworlds trailer, and click here for that new Thor Stormbreaker deleted scene from Infinity War. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.